Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Scenes here at Kingsman Shakespeare Festival. Everything is in full preparations for the opening of Richard III this Friday. I got a chance to talk with Ryan Lee, director of Richard III, to get a better understanding of the play.
But the idea that we need to know, there was a fight between this family and this Green family for quite a long time. What happens is Edward III outlived these two brothers. So when he was dead, the next person alive is either supposed to go to the older brother, or, as it turned out, they skipped over a generation and went to a 10-year-old boy. Richard II was 10 when he was crowned. So that made these two families kind of pissed off. So this would be the next in line, this would be the next in line. And it just started this battle as to who really should get it. And if you take this all the way back up to the top, you can see that she was the descendant of this marriage that happens at the very end of the play, where Richmond becomes Henry VII and marries young Elizabeth, who was part of this family and part of this family, which joins the two families together, creating the Tudor family. And that's what ended the Wars of the Roses, because this family had one color, the rose of, they were the red rose, and these were the white rose. That was their family symbol, was the red rose and the white rose. And at the end of the play, your character says, joining the red rose and the white rose. That's what he actually means, is he brought this whole family together with this whole family by marrying her. And this war that had lasted almost 100 years was finally over. And so I really wanted to heighten a little bit of the comedy so that people are much more willing to laugh than they are to cry and think. And the best way to get them to think or cry is to make them laugh first. So I've been coming up with a way to just see how all this story is kind of so insane that it's almost funny. Well, I mean, if you're going to come see it, I think that you should come in expecting to smile. I'm trying to make it be a continuous flow, with the metaphor being the end of one thing is the beginning of the next. And so the beginning of this play is the end of something. It's the end of an era.
I also got a chance to sit down with Ross Helwig, who was playing Buckingham, and Jason Macbeth, who's playing Richard, and ask them about their role and preparations for the show.
He kind of has a foot in two houses. His family's past supported one side, and he's sort of supported the Yorks in the present. One of the things I love about the character is his journey and his arc. And even sort of historically, it's some of the whys of why he did what he did are kind of ambiguous. I always enjoy seeing how they go from point A to point Z, because, you know, would those characters at the beginning of the play do what they do by the end of the play? But there is a point when when he says, what do we do if this other guy doesn't go along with us? And Richard offers up a solution. Before Buckingham has the chance to say yes or no, Richard says, oh, by the way, when I'm king, you remember all those lands that used to belong to your family a couple generations ago that my brother now has? I'm gonna give those to you. So before Buckingham even has the chance to say, yeah, I'm okay with this, or yeah, I'm not okay with this, Richard offers sort of a bribe, and Buckingham says, I'm in. But then later on, there's something else that Richard asks him that he kind of balks at. I love the character because there are a lot of choices that you get to make with him that are never explicitly answered in the text as far as his motivation.
Oh yeah, I absolutely think there's humanity in him. They use the word evil a lot when describing him, but what interests me about him and about anybody is what led him to make the decisions that he ended up making. I tried to stay away from the word evil because I think it's too easy a throwaway. I think of it as it's like a blanket that we throw onto things or people with whom we vehemently disagree, but whom we haven't taken the time to try to understand. And he's some of the best insults in all of Shakespeare, who was a great insult artist, are reserved for this one character. And imagine just that level of vitriol being directed at him from the time that he was a child. I think it's easy to see why he would grow up with, at the very least, utter disdain, if not outright contempt and hatred for those around him.
That's it for this week's episode of Behind the Scenes here at Kingsman Shakespeare Festival. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We'll see you this Friday for the opening of Richard III.